I will admit that ever since The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, it really caught my interest of what Jon Favreau really believed in. We do know that he really believes in Star Wars legends, he loves the Star Wars fandom, and that's exactly why it felt so nostalgic at the very end of The Mandalorian, because of not just Luke Skywalker's appearance, but because of exactly how he appeared. How Jon Favreau finally gave him the action that he deserved in as little as 2 minutes, to really pretty much course correct the character right there. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, I always believed in Jon Favreau. The very beginning, when everybody heard that Jon Favreau was stepping on board to develop the first live-action Star Wars TV show, a lot of fans were very excited. Now, I myself in the beginning, I was very excited as well because I knew where Jon Favreau was coming from. After all, this is the guy that started the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man 1 back in 2008. Let's not forget about that. So when we go ahead and check out exactly what Jon and Dave have been up to, they do have a lot on their plate. Let's not forget that they're working on the Ahsoka Tano series. They are involved to a degree with the Kenobi TV show. They are working around the clock on The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, which by the way are going to be done back to back. And a lot more TV shows out there yet to be announced this fall, leading into Star Wars Celebration of 2022. Now, what's really interesting, it has all to do with creator George Lucas. Now, George Lucas is the man who created Star Wars back in '77, and since then, it really has been a big success. Of course, when Disney took over Lucasfilm, we have seen this steady decline in the fan interest of Star Wars. Right now, it's all up to Jon and Dave to really fix that mess and to really patch things together. You know, bringing Luke back in that very small scene was just a tease of what they could really do. Just a little glimpse of what they can tap into when it comes to their potential as creators to really kind of just harness what the Star Wars Legends content really provided for the fandom. Now, what's really exciting all has to do with what George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni have planned. Now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are now focused on their new universe, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are working closely with George Lucas in order to make the Star Wars fandom satisfied as much as possible. Further, it's described that George Lucas is making a very big change behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm by guiding Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni on ways to resurrect important pieces of Star Wars legends in the form of live action. It's noted that Lucas has a big plan in place where he is set to bring in stories of Star Wars Dark Empire and the Thrawn trilogy from the 1990s to be major story pieces within the Mandalorian series, as well as other shows that are actually going to be, one of them, a planned young Luke Skywalker TV series. Further, it's described that Lucas is planning major stories with Favreau and Filoni for Luke Skywalker to have major scenes with Grand Admiral Thrawn in future Mandalorian episodes that are going to be key inspirations from the Thrawn trilogy books, and that Palpatine's previous clones are set to make appearances in the Mandalorian series. Now, Lucas is even developing a side story in The Mandalorian in which Luke Skywalker is set to battle a young Palpatine clone by the time The Mandalorian Season 4 releases on Disney+. Lucas is also very excited to revive many aspects of Star Wars Dark Empire and recreating the Thrawn trilogy through multiple TV shows on Disney+. Lucas is also set to give Luke Skywalker a major part in the Ahsoka Tano series, where Ahsoka is set to team up with Luke in this new series that they are pushing for either a 22 or 23 release. Currently, Sebastian Stan is set to portray the new Luke Skywalker, and that Ian McDiarmid has been in the talks to reprise his role as Palpatine for The Mandalorian Season 4. Lucas is already set to also further explain the story of Snoke and exactly what his species really mean to Palpatine, as teased in The Mandalorian Season 2. So let me just stop right here. What's really exciting about this is that we can see now that Star Wars Legends is coming back in all its glory. Some of you guys out there, I understand, may not like Dark Empire, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. Not a lot of people out there like the whole Palpatine clone story. I, however, do. I just feel that it was handled improperly in episode 9 because they did not directly mention that he was a clone in episode 9. We had to rely on a book, a novelization of The Rise of Skywalker to find that out. And that was actually a retcon, believe it or not. Disney actually decided that he was a clone well after episode 9 released. They made some edits to the overall novelization, hence why it got delayed. So here's the thing, the Thrawn trilogy, everybody loves the Thrawn trilogy. If you guys have not read those original books from the 90s, please do go ahead and check them out. It really is the quote-unquote original sequel trilogy to the originals. It really is. Because it shows a lot of stories related to Luke, Han, Leia, Thrawn, and all these characters that are very special to the universe. Now, here's the other side of the story, is that also Kathleen Kennedy is not happy about this approach with George, John, and Dave. Obviously, she has no creative power over the other TV shows, only Star Wars The Acolyte until this June, before they begin filming later this summer. Alright, so into July and August, later, this summer of 2021, is when they're going to try to begin filming for the Acolyte TV series. Good luck with that, because honestly, I don't believe it's going to be a big hit. I feel like the Acolyte is going to be a big letdown, to tell you guys the truth. But moving on from this, I gotta say that George, John, and Dave know exactly where the fans' heads are at. They really love Star Wars Legends, myself included. There are parts of Legends, I will agree, that are very obnoxious and very much, ridiculous. I agree with that. But there's a lot of parts of Star Wars Legends, let me tell you, that are just amazing, and it really makes you question why in the world did Disney skip this when it comes to their feature films. You got me, guys. You got me. So, everything related to Jon Favreau, alright? The fact that he and George Lucas are working very closely together on reviving Dark Empire and also reviving the Thrawn trilogy. Alright, a lot of aspects from those books are going to be implanted into The Mandalorian, into this quote-unquote Young Luke series, into the Ahsoka Tano series, and more. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of their technique of reviving the core stories from Star Wars Legends. Think about it. Yes, we're in a post-Return of the Jedi era. Yes, we have our young Luke Skywalker, and yes, Thrawn is back. So they have all the puzzle pieces right now to put together. Palpatine is coming back into the equation here, with Ian McDiarmid in the talks to reprise his role for Mandalorian Season 4. You can see everything unraveling. After all, Jon Favreau wants to explain Palpatine's story to successfully gaining the power of cloning techniques. And that's exactly what he wants to actually make clear in The Mandalorian and in other shows out there like Ahsoka and more, as well as the reformed version of Rangers of the New Republic, which by the way is going to get a brand new title. So it's going to be a completely different show with a brand new fan favorite character leading the show instead of Cara Dune, given that GINA Carano can no longer work on the show. So, like I've said, guys, I think that George Lucas is a visionary, always has been, always will be. Sure, the prequels had some hang-ups, I agree. But, at the end of the day, it was Star Wars. To me, the prequels were more Star Wars than Disney Star Wars is. So, guys, let me know what you think about this entire, decision by George and John below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.